NFL Combine. Let's take it to the 40-yard dash because Longhorns Jaden Blue and Isaiah Bond, they want to break the 40-yard dash record set by their Texas teammate Xavier Worthy. Here's what they said.
I'm going to break the record tomorrow, for sure. I anticipate running 4.20 or possibly I'm feeling great. I might run 4.1.
Maybe 4.1, 4.20 though.
With that, we welcome in our ESPN football analyst, Louis Riddick. All right, Louis, so Isaiah Bond didn't set the receiver here record, the dash record, but he did work out with the rest of the receivers. So what receiver stood out to you?
Yeah, I'd have to go with Dante Thornton Jr. from the University of Tennessee. I mean, that's 6'4", 205 pounds in win jump ball situations on the regular. And he's someone who really is, his skill set's just going to transfer or translate immediately to the NFL level. And I think it will be, the kind of skill set that teams are going to covet early on in the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. So it didn't break a record, but did leave something for the record there. Let's take it to QBs because neither Cam Ward nor Shadur Sanders, as you know, Louis, they didn't throw today, but what QB did impress you?
Look, Tyler Shuck from Louisville has been someone who, since the fall, has impressed me. The quarterback who ran today in his group, under center drops that he had to execute, 3, 5, and 7-step drops. He looked like someone who was already pro-ready. He throws the football with great timing, accuracy, touch, velocity, all the things, again, that show up on tape. And he's an older guy at 25 years old. He's played a lot of football, not too much, but he's played a lot of football. He's been coached by some great coaches at Louisville and Jeff and Brian Brom. And I think he's going to be, quite honestly, I said it earlier, he was going to be the steal of the draft. I still feel that way. I'm even more determined that he will be that now. I can't wait to see what team he goes to and how he plays once his career gets started.
Speaking to going to a team, we're going to focus on the NFL, someone who is already a pro through and through. We had a big trade in the NFL today, Louis, as I'm sure you've heard, the 49ers dealing DeeBo Samuel here to the Commanders for that 5th-round pick. What's your reaction to the deal?
Look, as many playmakers as you can surround Jaden Daniels with, the better. And for DeeBo, and with DeeBo, see, you're getting kind of a 2-for-1 because he's a guy who's a dual threat in terms of being a guy who can run the ball traditionally and catch the ball out of the backfield like a running back. And then he's also someone you can put in the slot and have him attack the middle of the field, both short, intermediate, and deep. And that is something that I'm sure Jaden Daniels is looking at and going, man, the possibilities are endless with this kind of player because of his versatility. And on top of it, this is pound for pound maybe the toughest player in the NFL. I know he has an injury history, and because of the way he plays, he puts himself in harm's way. But this is the kind of tone setter that they need on offense and the kind of playmaker that Jaden needs behind him. I'm super excited to see how they put this all together.
I mean, you were excited to see Jaden Daniels in the NFL, so it says a lot that you're excited to see this combo now here with the Commanders. Louis, from a big player to a big play, before we let you go, we want your reaction to a top play nominee that we have ready to go today. Our team received this a little earlier today. By your chuckle, I already think you know what we're talking about. What do you think of this, Louis?
Yeah, that's my 14-year-old son, Darren, who was at an all-star game tryout today in South Jersey, and he took it coast to coast and went up over top of another player. And this is something I've been telling him to do and trying to encourage him to really get aggressive. And that right there, when I saw that, when that was sent to me, I was just like, oh, my goodness, there it is. That's what I've been waiting for. We're going to be covering this young man in a couple of years, I promise you. And I know that sounds a little bit biased as his father, but he's got some skills. I cannot wait to see what his potential ultimately is.
Not biased as his father. I'm sure you're hoping that Pitt is looking at him as well. Louis Riddick, our ESPN football analyst and basketball coach. Thank you.
And for more on this trade, we bring in CBS Sports NFL analyst Emory Hunt. And Emory, DeeBo, no longer a 49er now. He pairs up with Jaden Daniels, gives him another weapon on the Commanders. Your reaction to the 49ers trading DeeBo for a 5th-rounder?
That part I'm not shocked about because they've been trying to find a way to split for quite some time now. They were finally able to make it official. But on the other side of the beginning part of it, I'm excited for Washington because going into the draft, you're starting to think about, man, maybe they could use another wide receiver to pair up with Terry McLaurin. Now you add a game breaker in DeeBo Samuel, so that takes that off the table in the first round, so you can go and add another significant part of this football team. But for DeeBo, man, imagine the amount of space he's going to have to operate with because of a Jaden Daniels, because of what he does with his legs and how that opens up a lot of bubbles on the back end within the defense. We saw Terry McLaurin have success. We saw the run game have success. And now you get a guy that can win in that short to intermediate area of the field. He's a significant catch and run threat. So DeeBo Samuel in this offense is going to be box office for Washington.
It's going to be box office. As a Commanders fan, I'm really happy to see how this offense transforms with him in the lineup. How much further do you think they get in terms of the NFC when you look at how DeeBo is going to fit in to Cliff Kingsbury's offense?
It helps sustain their position as a perennial playoff team, Chris. And that's a great question because I know everyone wants to say, well, can he get to the Super Bowl with the DeeBo Samuel? Well, there's a bunch of other teams in the NFC that are vying for that opportunity to represent the conference in the last game of the year. However, being a consistent perennial playoff team is what you really strive for. All you want is an opportunity. All you want is to get into the tournament. And when you have a lot of playmakers like Washington is starting to build, you have a dude at quarterback. Adding another dude in DeeBo Samuel will help solidify that place as one of the top 7 teams in the National Football Conference.
Now, lastly, some people have said DeeBo has gotten worse and worse over the years, in part, because of injuries. He has been banged up. What player do you think Commanders fans and NFL fans should expect from DeeBo Samuel?
That's a great question because it's the injuries and the inconsistency because of the injuries is why he's getting moved for this 5th-round pick. But you hope, if you're a Commanders fan, you're getting a rejuvenated, healthy version like we saw the Eagles get with their receiver in A.J. Brown, how he was kind of up and down in terms of falling out of favor with Tennessee. They trade him. Now we're getting a perennial all-pro in A.J. Brown. You hope that's the case here with DeeBo Samuel. I think you're going to get the best of DeeBo Samuel, knowing he's coming into a new situation, a fresh situation with a quarterback that is on the ascending track. I like this pickup for the Commanders.
Yeah, I do too. Emory Hunt breaking it down like a boss as always. We appreciate you, man. So here are the Commanders' notable offensive playmakers. Jaden Daniels, all-world, right? Then you got Brian Robinson Jr., running back, Austin Eckler, Terry McLaurin, and now DeeBo Samuel. But those two, the last two on this full screen, those are the guys who are really making things shake outside of Jaden Daniels. Louisiana running back Emory Hunt. And Emory, out of all the QBs who actually participated on the field, who is your winner?
Brady Cook out of Missouri. And if you've been following me, Chris, for the last 2 seasons, I've been telling everybody that would listen, Brady Cook is a really good football player because he's a dynamic athlete. He does a great job in being a gamer and reminds me a lot of Andy Dalton when he was at TCU.